Ugh. You know those times when you watch a complete bullshit movie, something that you never was a fan of in the first place, and then years later down the line, they make a remake to that same film, something that you wasn't a fan of in the first place, but you just have that slight glimmer of hope that it's better? Didn't freaking happen here. What's going on, guys, and welcome to my review of The Strangers Chapter 1. This is a trilogy I never really was a massive fan of, especially that 2008 film starring Liv Tyler and Scott Speedsman. I never really got the premise. I've never really bought into the story. It just never really was that appealing to me. This is, of course, a planned trilogy, with Chapter 2 being released at the end of this year and Chapter 3 being released sometime next year. Basically, you have this couple who is traveling to where they end up in this internet house or cabin in the woods, to where they are preyed upon by these three strangers, these three killers. So, as I've said, I've never really been a massive fan of that 2008 film. It just never appealed to me. Now, The Strangers Prey at Night, that was released in 2018, I actually had fun with. That was definitely an improvement over that 2008 film. And it's the reason why I was a little intrigued in Chapter 1, but then when I found out it was a remake of that 2008 film, I was like, no, God. Oh. So I started watching the trailers, I started watching the ads, and then it got to a point to where, oh my God, is this going to be a beat for beat for beat, shot by shot remake of that first one? God, I hate being right. So you can imagine how hesitant I was right after that, right off the bat. The only thing that really got me into wanting to see this was the film's director, Renny Harlin, who brought us such films as A Nightmare on Elm Street 4, Cliffhanger, The Long Kiss Goodnight, which is my personal favorite, and Deep Blue Sea. The guy knows how to direct. He brings out pretty good films. The guy knows what he's doing. That's the only thing that really enticed me to this. So with that being said, starting off the positives, I will say this, as bad as this movie is, I do gotta admit that the strangers themselves, I actually found pretty entertaining, pretty intimidating. I like the way their masks look, especially Burlap Sack Guy, though he's named Scarecrow on Wikipedia, but I'm just calling him Burlap Sack. I always thought of him as being the dominant throughout the whole entire trilogy, the three films that we've got so far. I've always thought of him as being the leader of this group, because he just shows that dominance. He just shows that leadership. He almost gives out like a Rob Zombie, Michael Myers vibe or something like that. But to me, he always brings out like a Jason Voorhees vibe from Friday Part 2, but that's mainly because of the burlap sack thing. But still, I always thought that they were pretty appealing, and I can see why these characters are almost icon level. Notice I said almost. Though they're not to the level as Freddy or Jason or Michael just yet, but give them time and better movies, hopefully they'll get there. But I could see the appeal as to why they're on that road, on that train to that level. Not to mention that there was certain scenes in this film that was filmed quite nicely. The way the film was shot. There's this one shot to where you have your protagonist, the girl who gets left alone at the cabin while her boyfriend goes out to get something to eat, to get food for them, where she's playing the piano. And you see this nice shot where there's a mirror like right in front of her, but like on the top, so like she's not actually looking at the mirror, she's looking at the piano keys. And you see just a zoom out shot of the burlap sack guy sitting right behind her in a chair with his axe, and he's just sitting there, and then the camera just slowly moves back while you see him, like the back of his head. And that was actually pretty creepy. That was actually something that I really liked seeing, because it just gave you that sense of dread of thinking to yourself, okay, she's going to get it. What is he going to do? What's going to happen here? That actually appealed to me the most. And I thought that was very clever, especially on Renny Harlin's part. Plus you got this whole forest scene where you get the killers and the protagonist just chasing each other and just going all wild, with the guy trying to find his girlfriend and the girlfriend trying to find the boyfriend and the killers trying to find the couple. And what makes this scene worthwhile And a little different from what I remember that 2008 film being is just the atmosphere and how foggy it was and the sense of dread that it just brought out, just the way it looked, because you couldn't hardly see anything within probably up to here. And that made it really tense too. Like a goth-like tone and just a Friday the 13th vibe all around, because it was a forest, but it was like more foggier. I don't even remember the Friday the 13th movies being filmed like that. I mean, I know that's a different subject altogether, but I remember thinking to myself, damn, this is actually pretty cool. If the whole entire movie was like this would probably be a little more up a notch. You just had that very gothic-like essence, very stylistic in terms of look and just the feel of it with the way the cinematography was done in that scene. I wholeheartedly appreciated that. And oh, I got it. I'm sorry, that's all I got. I'm tapped out. Moving on to my negatives. This is exactly what I expected it to be. A beat for beat, shot by shot, though not as bad as Psycho 1998, I'll give it that. But there was no substance, no fresh take, no nothing. And this is coming from somebody who didn't even like that 2008 version, which this is basically the same rehash of that film, while still holding just a glimmer of hope that this one would be just a little bit better. Something that I was apparently fooled by from the get-go. First off, you have a really horrible script. I'm telling you, what I said about The Strangers still stands. I think their presence gives about the only strong leg that this movie can ever bring out. If they were just in better movies, this would not even be brought up. This wouldn't even be a subject. They need to find better movies to put these characters in. What I said about them not being as iconic as those other freak shows that we have, like Freddy and Jason and Michael, they would be iconic if they were put in better movies. And I really do feel for them, because I hope one day that does happen. Now, this is a planned trilogy. Hopefully chapter 2 and 3 will get to that level eventually. But my God, the script in this was abysmal. It's mostly bared on logic and reasons on the main characters' parts. You have some of the most dumbest decisions that these people make in horror history. I just can't even fathom. It's maddening. So basically, when they first arrived to this freak show town, to where if they had a mascot that is literally a red flag, it would do it justice, because it's just everywhere. And this couple, for some apparent reason, ignores every single sign that this town brings out, that it's obviously that something's wrong, that anybody else that's rational, any other rational person would go to like 2 or 3 or 5 towns over just to get the hell away from it. It couldn't be any more obvious, and yet these people are still blind.
Hi.
Hi.
The sheets on these characters' eyes are just as black and just as blind as ever, that an actual blind person could probably see better than them. You have these weird-ass mechanics that as soon as this couple goes to this town and gets out of their car, you see them in the background just looking and staring like, And then as soon as they get into the diner, they get insulted, and they just get bombarded by what I assume was the owner of this diner. And again, any other rational person, I would be like, you know what? Screw you and your diner. We're eating somewhere else. And it's like, really? Why didn't you do that? Is that sense of value in yourself that low? Plus, the way they played this town, they could have gone in a much awesome direction to where maybe the townsfolk itself is involved and they either know the strangers or some of them are actually the strangers. And that angle I would have preferred. It would have made a good whodunit scenario to where, oh, maybe he's burlap sack guy, maybe she's pinup girl, maybe she's baby doll face. We won't know. But unfortunately, they don't go that route. It's just stupid. And I really would have preferred them to go that route, but instead, they just go on, and then they just don't give it a second thought. It's like, really, guys? Come on. That would have been something fresh to put into this. Just saying. Again, beat by beat by beat remake. Nothing fresh, nothing new. And again, this is from somebody who didn't like the 2008 film, but still holding on that glimmer of hope that I was so falsely fooled by.
See, that's why you such a dumbass.
Your mother.
Plus, another reason why I never liked the 2008 film and this one as I so fiercely imagined I would be, is because the story never really appealed to me. You have 3 killers, count them, 3 killers, going after 2 people. Now you think about that for a second. 3 killers against 2 people. I never found entertainment value in that. I never found the appeal. To me, that never really was exciting enough. That's why The Strangers Pray at Night worked so much better for me, because it was a family that they were stalking. Of 4 or 5, I think it was 4. It was a family of 4 that they were stalking. That means more characters, which adds up to more body count, adds up to more gore, equals more fun and entertainment. More substance. Here, you get none of the above. Never attempts at nothing new. It's just a... So in closing, other than The Strangers, which I really did enjoy, they just need to be in better movies. They really need to be in better movies with a better script, more sensible characters, emphasis on more characters. It would make a big difference. A huge difference. In that scenario, which is why I hope chapters 2 and 3 triumphs and gets there, that would make for a much better trilogy, a much better movie, and my cup of tea. I just hope that the next 2 of these knocks it out of the park in drones, because with this one, I was caught off guard. Wow, that's a rating I hadn't gave a movie in a long ass time. So The Strangers, Chapter 1, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen it yet? Are you a fan of this trilogy in general? Are you somebody that preferred that 2008 film? Are you somebody that preferred Pray at Night? Are you somebody that actually liked this new one? No judgment here if you did. If you did, then that's fine. All hats to you. Or are you somebody who just thought that this was the dumbest, most idiotic, stupidest thing ever to be made in cinema history? Leave me a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And make sure to click that bell icon so you don't miss a thing. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.